fabulous Poet Laureate join us up here? And anyone else who's here to celebrate the recognition with Zeina.
All right, so I'm honored that the mayor asked me to present this proclamation to my dear friend and our outgoing Poet Laureate, Zeina Azzam, for everything that she's done for our city over the course of her tenure as Poet Laureate. So I will read the proclamation, then I'll hand you the mic, Zeina, if you want to say a few words. It's a long one, so stay with me here. Whereas the Academy of American Poets established the month of April as National Poetry Month in 1996 to seek to highlight the extraordinary legacy and ongoing achievements of American poets, to introduce Americans to the pleasures and benefits of reading poetry, to bring poets and poetry to the public in immediate and innovative ways, and to make poetry an important part of our children's education. And whereas in 2006, the City of Alexandria established the Alexandria Poet Laureate program as a way to publicly confirm the value of the literary arts as an essential part of the arts and humanities that affects every aspect of life in America today, including education, health, the economy, and community pride and development, and enhances the quality of life in Alexandria. And whereas past Poet Laureate Mary McIlveen, Amy Young, Tory Lane Kovarik, Ryan Wajanowski, Wendy Kaplan, and Kaniki Jakarta have served since the creation of the Poet Laureate program. And whereas Zeina Azzam, the first Arab American to hold that title, was appointed as Alexandria's Poet Laureate in 2022, and during her tenure wrote 23 original poems for the city, including for the annual USA Alexandria Birthday celebration, Dashing Words in Motion, Martin Luther King Jr. Memorial Community Program, and Alexandria Jazz Festival, and ALX Very Merry Jazz Fest, the 10th anniversary of Contrabands and Freedman Cemetery Memorial. Sorry, lost my place. Memorials events for the lynching of Joseph McCoy and Benjamin Thomas, and the soil collection ceremony commemorating their lives. Freedom House reopening and the Juneteenth celebration, September 11 Remembrance Ceremony, and poems to celebrate the Torpedo Factory Arts Center's 50th anniversary, and the installation ceremony for the mayor and city council. Thank you for that. And the poems to mark Sexual Assault Awareness and Prevention Month. And whereas Zeina Azzam led 5 themed writing workshops for the community, judged the youth's poetry contest of Alexandria City Public Schools and the Poetry Society of Virginia, and the Hurt Program's writing contest at the Alexandria Detention Center, delivered poetry sessions at Alexandria High School's International Academy, George Washington Middle School, and Francis C. Hammond Middle School, facilitated a poetry workshop for immigrants at the Campania Center, organized a citywide haiku contest, and edited a published collection, hosted the annual Poem in Your Pocket community event, and created the annual multicultural poetry reading, Poems About the Moon. And whereas Zeina Azzam has served as featured reader at a number of venues virtually, locally, and nationally, including Alexandria's Beatley, Burke, Duncan, and Barrett Libraries, Folger's Shakespeare Theater, City Lit Baltimore Festival, and Islamic Relief USA, ASPS's annual poetry celebration, as well as George Mason, Georgetown, American Towson, Southern Illinois, and Columbia Universities and Vassar College. Wrote articles about poetry for the Alexandria Times, gave interviews and readings at museums and print journals like the Museum of the Palestinian People and American Book Review, and media outlets WAMU, WPFW, Howard University TV, Virginia Center for Investigative Journalism. And whereas during her tenure, Zeina Azzam released her book, Some Things Never Leave You, and published poems in journals and anthologies, including Writing the Land, Virginia, the Southern Poetry Anthology, Volume, not sure, Virginia, Academy of American Poets Poem a Day, The Knot magazine, which gave her a Pushcart Prize nomination, and her poem for Alexandria Choral Society, You Birth the Seeds, was arranged as choral piece by renowned composer Melissa Dunphy. And whereas Zeina Azzam term as Poet Laureate for the city of Alexandria will expire April 30th, 2025. And now, therefore, I, Abdel El-Nubi, on behalf of Aliyah Gaskins, Mayor of Alexandria, Virginia, and on behalf of the City Council, do hereby declare April 2025 as Poetry Month in Alexandria and acknowledge with sincere appreciation the contributions of Zeina Azzam and thank her on behalf of the citizens of Alexandria for promoting poetry and the literary arts in our city and for making poetry part of the fabric of life in the city of Alexandria. In witness thereof, I have hereunto set my hand and caused the seal of the city of Alexandria to be affixed on this 22nd day of April, 2025.
That was long, and I apologize. Thank you so much, Councilman El-Nubi, for reading that. I really appreciate that. And thank you so much, Mayor Gaskins, Vice Mayor Bagley, and all the City Council. I've been so privileged to get to know all of you as during this tenure of 3 years, I've shared stages with you, I've had wonderful conversations, and it's meant a lot to me. And thank you to Alexandria for welcoming me as Poet Laureate for 3 years, for welcoming me as Poet Laureate and writer, as a woman, as an older woman, as an Arab American, as a Palestinian American, as a daughter of refugees, as an immigrant, and so much more. And gratitude to the Office of the Arts. You have been my touchstone throughout these 3 years. Thank you so much, Diane Ruggiero, for overseeing this incredible Office of the Arts and for uplifting the arts, not just poetry, all of them. Thank you to Daniel Guzman, who has done so much in terms of these huge events for the city and has invited me to write and read poems. And of course, I have big gratitude to Cheryl Ann Colton, the administrator in the department, who has just been so cheerful and efficient and supportive and encouraging and an advisor. Thank you so much, Cheryl Ann. And of course, I have to thank the Office of Historic Alexandria. They have involved me in so many of their events and the commemorations for Alexandria, historical events for lynchings, for Freedmen's Cemetery reopening and 10th anniversary, and so much more. And Gretchen Bulova, the director, has been really supportive. And in fact, she kind of led the effort to collect all the poems that I've written for the city in this booklet. And I'm so proud of it and so happy. And you'll all be getting a copy as well. So I just wanted to bring it and show it to you today. So thank you to the Office of Historic Alexandria and Gretchen Bulova. What a privilege it's been for me to be in this city, to lead workshops, to visit the schools, the International Academy, to work on poetry readings for the community, for the dash buses, excuse me, to speak at events, to read, to write these poems. It's been really just such a privilege, and I recognize and honor all the poets laureate before me. I stand on their shoulders, and I'm really delighted for the selection of Christy Donoso, the new poet laureate, and I welcome her very much. And thank you to all my friends who are here, to everybody watching, my kids I think are watching, and the whole community. It's been really such a beautiful journey for me. and really one of the great honors of my lifetime. So thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Zeina. With that, Madam Mayor, I move the proclamation.
There has been a motion by Councilman El-Nubi and a second by Councilman Chapman to move the proclamation. Any discussion? Vice Mayor Bagley.
I just want to second what was in the proclamation and just thank you for sort of reigniting and reminding me of the beauty of poetry and art. And I loved sharing a stage with you, and it was deeply meaningful to me. So I still remember standing on stage during the 250th and listening, to the poem you wrote specifically for that occasion. And it was just such a tapestry of the city and the history. And so I thank you, not just for your service to the city, but just for what you reignited sort of, in me when I would listen to you deliver your poem. So thank you very much. And I encourage anybody, I don't know what our plans are as a city for making the booklet available, but hopefully we'll have it in libraries or in other locations where people can read them. Oh, wonderful.
Councilwoman Green.
So I echo everything that was in the proclamation that Councilman El-Nubi read, but I just want to say you've brought such grace to the role and represented our city so very well. And we just thank you for the time and effort that took. And just been a pleasure to get to know you. Thank you.
Councilman Aguirre.
So I've had the pleasure, Zeina, of knowing you before you were the Poet Laureate and before I was on council. So it's been great to build a friendship from before either of us had our roles. And while I knew that you were a poet when we first met, I didn't know how much you had done. And then, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe you also got to read a poem in front of the UN, which is amazing. And that's one of the things that I love about Alexandria is that we have so many amazing individuals that call this home. So thank you for everything that you've done and that you will continue to do.
Councilman Chapman.
I just want to thank you for specifically challenging us through some of your poetry. I think with world events in particular, you did not shy away from talking about those and talking to our community about those through poetry as well. And I think it's always easy for us to hear kind of the delightful things that we want in poetry, but to be challenged as a community and through the words, the vision, the artistry of what you did was something that I think I hold near and deep. And so thank you very, very much for bringing your perspective to this role.
Councilman McPike.
Yes, I want to join everyone in saying thank you for all that you've done as the Poet Laureate. The beautiful poems that you've written, as my colleagues have said, have been thought-provoking and inspirational. Alexandria is a city that takes art very seriously, and through our Poet Laureate program, we actually commission you on behalf of the city to create art. So I'm glad that we're assembling it into a booklet so that your contributions will continue to be available to folks even as your time in this position ends. And I'm very sorry I can't be there to thank you in person tonight for your service to the city, but I know you and I know that I'm going to see you out in Alexandria continue to do good work on things that really matter. So thank you again for everything you've done in this role.
And before we move the proclamation, I want to say two things. First, I know we joke that the proclamation is long, but I hope that you will never apologize again, because everything that is in that proclamation is a testament to the hard work that you have put into this role and everything that you have achieved. And I can tell you, as somebody who was trying to figure out where to cut, I was like, every piece of this is important and every piece deserves to be celebrated. The second thing I would want to say is just in echoing the words of my colleagues. I wrote you a little note as well. And in it, one of the things I wanted to thank you for is your heart. because I feel there have been so many times where we've had the opportunity to stand with you or to sit behind you. And what I feel is behind every word is a reflection of your heart and your hope and your belief for what our city could be and the city you hope that we will all experience, feel, and have the opportunity to be a part of. And so I still keep the poem that you wrote for our installation. It is a reminder to me, and I hope a reminder to all of us, that we have a voice too, and we are called to use it. And so I thank you for not just sharing your reflections, but also sharing a challenge to each of us to be better. So it's just been such an honor to have you as our Poet Laureate. I know we will continue to see you at many things, but I hope that tonight is just a small recognition of how important and how special your service has been to our community. So with that, there has been a motion and a second to move the proclamation. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed say nay. The ayes have it, and the proclamation is approved. You're gonna take a photo. I feel like we should go down there. It's a little awkward. Madam Clerk, next item.
All reports from members of City Council on boards, commissions, and committees. Council of Governments Board of Directors, Mayor Gaskins.
Okay, we are going to launch into our oral reports. Just a reminder, we have a lot to do tonight, so let's keep these short and tight. First one from me is the COG Board of Directors. I think two important updates are, one, we received a brief